That was the most Willy Wonka moment I've ever seen in anime. She's like, no, Mimi, stop healing her. Don't do it. You'll lose an arm. No, wait, stop. Is she doing it? Yeah, isn't she amazing? I never even taught her that. That's crazy, isn't it? It kind of gives the impression that this entire time Fran's stalling just so that Mimi does something. Mimi's over there like a chihuahua at Sheena's bedside going, hey, she's just laying here. You gonna do something, Fran? Fran, do something. She's like, shut up. Shut up. I told you to shut up in here. And then Mimi just goes and does it. And she's like, oh, cool. Yeah, she pulled it off. I don't know. Again, she says that, I didn't teach her that. This entire episode 2 of I Want to Love You to Your Dying Day, this entire episode gave several hints that there's one special thing, at least one special thing about Mimi, other than the fact that she's like crazy, like insane on the battlefield, which you finally get to see in action. But I think she's going to be somebody that picks up on things very quickly. She learns just by seeing things. At the later part of this episode, she's like going, yeah, the enemies use this little spell right here and it shreds your flesh. I was like, wait, did you get taught that? Or did you see what the enemy used and you just mimicked the spell? Like, do you just see them using the spell and you just picked it up? Or are you going, yeah, they teach us this and this is the one that you use all the time? I think she's legit just picking up things off the battlefield and just learning it very quickly. And remember when Sheena and Mimi caught those two that were kissing, it seemed like Mimi didn't have a clue as to what they were doing. Sheena had to explain it to her. Explain the whole idea of the wavelengths having to match and they kiss each other and they, give mana over. Again, at the end of the last episode, she does that to Sheena. Oh, I'll heal you. And it opens up this episode. I gave you a bunch of my mana. It kind of gave the impression that was like sparks happening nearby. Like almost like Sheena's like in an overflow of mana. But like this is something that Mimi has just learned and boom, she's applying it right here. Fran's like, I didn't teach her that. She's amazing, isn't she? She's learning things in this school that she's never been like subjected to or something like that, which does make you kind of wonder why Sheena hasn't been taught something that seems very critical. Why wouldn't Mimi have been taught this? Other than the fact that they just want her to be a fighter. They don't want her to be restoring people. Why didn't you tell her about the restoration magic of Mimi? Don't need to tell her right now. I don't know they want her to be doing this. I don't think they want her to be doing this. It's very, very interesting. I will admit, episode 2, despite episode 1 kind of failing to really get its hooks in me, I was pretty negative on it. I think 2 did a lot better for this. Again, we're really kind of expanding on Mimi as a character and digging this stuff. So let me get into my impressions on the episode. I don't know what I want to do scene by scene, but I will kind of jump around quite a bit. Let's first talk about, yes, the opening sequence, again, showing that Sheena seems to be kind of overflowed with the mana. Now, this could just be sort of a symbolism of sort of like the state that Sheena is going through, that something is kind of sparking within her. But I kind of more was getting an impression that this is a sign of almost a overflow. Like she gave her a ton of mana that Mimi could have potentially. It seemed like on the battlefield that was the case. Like she was jumping all over the place, shooting like crazy bolts everywhere. Everybody else is like, just like just struggling to get a couple spells. She's just jumping all over the place. I think she has like a massive excess of mana or something like that. But yeah, we go in that whole sequence there where Sheena's really upset about the fact that she got kissed. Even though in class the next day, she's like, she can't stop thinking about Mimi. Mimi's over there looking all cute and she's getting all flustered over it. And she's like, everybody does this, right? I shouldn't be bothered by this. Everybody does this, right? Even looking over at Sarah and Adi over there and just like, they do it too, right? She's getting all flustered. Yeah, that's where we have Omi bring up the fact that they're going to be doing some mock battles. I knew where this is going so freaking fast. The fact that she's telling them about this mock battle and talking about how there's people on the battlefield right now, so, say your prayers. And then literally cuts to them before the battle starts. And she's talking about there was a battle in this area before. We're going to have a mock battle. I'm going to create 100 of these things, so get out there and take it seriously. And I'm like, there's going to be somebody still there. I knew the moment that she mentioned there was a battlefield before, I'm like, there's going to be somebody there. It was totally like absolutely flagged to death. Before that whole sequence there, we had this little moment where you had between Sheena and Mimi really getting the idea of Mimi almost feeling very casual over the situation, while Sheena is very obviously nervous about it. One is a performance thing, because Sheena has done these before and she's failed to kill anything. As we see, she's supposed to kill 3 now. There's a lot of anxieties building up in her to perform, and this is something that she's asking Mimi about. Like, are you afraid or anything like that? No, I'm not afraid. We just got to do that, right? It's just a practice, right? Yeah, sure, it's just a practice. But yes, we cut to the actual day of the mock battle itself. Again, creating all these little Well, it seems like they're recreating the enemies of past battles. That was the interesting thing. I always thought they were going to take in some sort of form of individuals they've actually fought, like actual human form, but they're more like little ghost things that kind of flew around. I assume they potentially used data they got from the battlefield. Again, this sort of goes back to my theory that I had in the first impressions. This idea that there might be a potential that this is just a training ground, and all the battles they're being sent to is essentially just them having them kill each other in order to expand on magic, push individuals, multiple schools that are on the same side of the battlefield to fight each other to the death in order to extract information from the battlefields they have, or potentially if they do a really good job, they die and they get, basically graduated from that point on. Something like that. I just feel like there's going to be something behind this that is not what they actually expect. This is not going to be a standard school for the future. This school, they're training them and sending them to kill each other right off the bat. It just doesn't make any sense. Having Shina's classmate, who's still in class, be on the battlefield for the history of, for the future of mankind, doesn't really make any sense. Now, yes, this whole little segment here did shatter one of my theories I had, which was the idea that males and females were separated like that. Now, yes, we did have our second instance of seeing an enemy in the story, and it ends up being yet another male that is older. So that's the oddity there. But we did see, unless they're going to be like, tomboys, we did see a lot of, other students that were with this particular group doing the mock battle that were boys. So it's not going to be all boys or against all girls, like I was theorizing. But either way, yeah, we get them on the battlefield. Couple things interesting here, obviously, aside from Mimi. We do get to see Adi and Lizzie fighting side by side, or Seren. I know there's for some odd reason Seren references Adi as her first name, and Adi references Lizzie with her last name. It's kind of weird there, but either way, Seren and Adi on the battlefield, and seems like they're doing like a really good team up where they have Adi being sort of the ranged fighter, while Seren is more, melee, which is very interesting to see that magic itself has such flexibility that you can use it for both, melee slicing with it. Again, like Mimi was showing, something that kind of shreds the skin, and you can have individuals be more range related. It was kind of corny to see her sniping. It's like Mashiko Tensei. Mashiko Tensei did that with the whole wand thing and sniping with it. It just looks so dorky. Stop doing this. I wonder if the manga did that same thing. They probably did. They probably did, but that aside, it was a really cool little thing there, seeing Seren, especially with that little kind of around the back shot and everything like that. That was a little more interesting there, but yes, the elephant in the room here really is Mimi on the battlefield. She crazy. It definitely different. I think even at some point Sheena acknowledges she looked completely different. Well, she looked different outside of battle than she did when she was in battle. This is really getting to sort of more about Mimi herself. It really does seem like when she's on the battlefield, she loses all sense of self-preservation. She implies later on when Sheena's talking about, the pain and feeling like she's nearly died, Mimi's able to kind of relate to her and say, yeah, I've been through that too. I've been, on a constant basis, I've lost limbs. I've been destroyed several times. Here's this spell they use. It shreds your flesh. I've gone through this several times. I have a habit of rushing into battle, getting in the front line, and getting destroyed. It does seem like she's very much so into the battle, right up in the face of things. Just charge in there. And that could be a lot as to why she doesn't really get a part of the rest of the group, in with the other students and everything like that. It's almost like they're keeping her separate because she works alone. On that battlefield, I was kind of half expecting her to fight alongside Sheena and protecting Sheena, but she literally just went out and did her own thing. Sheena's over here talking to some boy that's keeping track of the score for some reason. Some random boy's how many did you kill? 0. Well, that Mimi girl, she's done 10. Bye. Okay, cool. Good on you. good on the score there. Hopefully you kill a couple before the battle's over. Mimi's killing everything. At some point, yeah, Fran's oh, look, all this magic ash that's everywhere. Should you really have her on the battlefield? And Omi's she was put in my class. I'm gonna treat her like all the other students. Shut up. You hoisted her on. Make it the hell out of here. But yeah, going back to Mimi herself, she's just up in there and brutal. Like, there's no hesitation. Like, it does look like even in this battle, she nearly gets hurt. Like, she just fumbles over herself at some point because she's so just get to the enemy, take him down. She's literally like a berserker. Like, the moment the battle starts, she's just a crazed animal that has to eat flesh, and she's after anything and everything that she can see. Even the moment that something comes over and attacks Sheena, she's on top of it. Another enemy, get it, kill it quickly. Yeah, and they even had that guy that she ends up taking down was calling her a monster, that he found her, that he knew who she was, that it was for sure the one that he was thinking it would be, that it's this monster. He could have potentially have seen her on the battlefield before, but yeah, she's... Again, a couple things they've implied with Mimi this episode. One, the fact that she is a quick learner. And two, she's pretty crazy on the battlefield. At one point, she like just licks her lips. Like, she's just so into it. She's liking what she's getting. She's getting a little bit of that taste of adrenaline and everything that she kind of seeks out. But yeah, at some point, Sheena gets attacked by some dude, chops off her arm. She feels like she's dying, doesn't want to die. During the time that she's kind of half conscious, at some point she talks about how the world is like this. This is supposed to be normal. People killing each other. That's the way of the world. It's a place that she doesn't want to be a part of. She doesn't like, the pain, people getting hurt, people dying. She doesn't like any of that stuff. Doesn't want to go to war at all. I will admit, it's interesting to have sort of the contrast between Mimi, who is, again, seemingly a child soldier, all she thinks about is fighting, that's just all she's known, and then having the girl that's like super pacifist that doesn't want war. I will get tired of this. I hope this isn't literally Sheena's character 24/7 is her constantly complaining about the fact that she doesn't like war. A perfectly understandable mindset, by the way, just I don't want to hear it over and over again. I hope they do something with her character. I think so far Mimi and Sheena's characterization so far has been very weak, and I hope they evolve it quite a bit. It seems like there will be obviously an element where the two of them will sort of adjust each other a bit, that Sheena might potentially show Mimi the value of life, and Mimi could ultimately strengthen Sheena a little bit. But if this is their characterization, is constantly Sheena whining about war, it's going to get old real quick. So hopefully they do something. I'll trust. I'll trust. This is only 2 episodes. I don't expect crazy developments to happen in 2 episodes, but I hope not. But anyways, yeah, while she's unconscious, they're all trying to figure out what to do. Mimi apparently could not find the arm. Couldn't find the arm. Sorry. She like goes to Sheena's bedside. She's like just sitting there, just all cropped up. Sorry, couldn't find your arm. So torquey. And again, eventually healing her. Omi coming in, again, very panicked by what she sees. Again, Fran mentioned the fact that she never taught her that. Interesting, though, after Sheena regains consciousness and they go to leave, Omi is waiting for them and apologizes. This is nice. This was very nice. This gave Omi quite a bit more character than just being the cold teacher that's, like they portrayed it in the first episode. Here's class. By the way, one of your students died. Yeah, get good, y'all, so you don't die. All right, pray for the battlefield. All right, peace all. Like, it gave me the impression of like almost like a coldness to the loss of a life. Here's really is showing that Omi does care for Sheena's life. Sheena went out there, and potentially probably regrets. I should have checked the battlefield. I should have made sure there was nobody there, but I didn't. I sent you out on there, and I didn't, take any consideration to your lives and your well-being. I was reckless. Somebody could have died. I apologize for that. There is seemingly a sense here that she was regretful about what happened. Very interesting that as she's apologizing, Fran looks away. So there may be a sense here where Fran almost feels a little bit guilt towards it, or potentially just doesn't like the fact that Omi is apologizing to begin with. There may be a difference in how they sort of see this situation here, but anyways, really cool to have her kind of apologize. And again, still push upon Sheena. This is a war. We got to be ready to defend ourselves. You sucked. I should have checked the place, but also you're going to have to fight these things eventually. You have to get good too. Just put that out there too. But again, a little bit of emphasis here on Omi questioning Fran for not telling her about who healed her, which she ends up finding out anyways, but interesting that she doesn't want to seemingly push that upon her yet. But yeah, the little after scene, again, very interesting. This little scene between Mimi and Sheena, again, talking about specifically, the fact that the enemy always uses this thing that shreds you up, constantly shreds me up. Again, she's a frontliner. She likes to get in there. She likes to just jump in the middle of a fight, just race headlong first into everything, probably just rushes groups of like 5 or so enemies at the same time, probably more than that. So she gets hurt a lot. And again, her relating to Sheena and what she went through, the pain, seemingly implying the fact that she too was near death several times before. So that's interesting as well. But I like this because there is, going to my earlier point, this element of the two of them sort of finding a common ground, or at least coming to a medium. This idea that Mimi acknowledges the pain that Sheena has gone through. And Sheena at this point acknowledging that Mimi is just like them, in a way, that she doesn't like pain. Oh, wow. She doesn't like this too. I thought I was the only one that doesn't like this whole thing happening. She's just like us. Wow. Sort of seeing a little bit of humanity in Mimi, despite the fact that this girl is just seemingly, again, like a little lost chihuahua that just wants her treat and just wants to know who to bark at next. Yeah. Overall, though, really solid episode. I'm looking forward to more as always, but that's my thoughts on episode 2 of I Want to Love You to Your Dying Day. Animation-wise, by the way, really good looking. I like that whole battle sequence, especially that one shot of Mimi where she, like, again, charged a little bit too fast and kind of has to does a roll to kind of turn around. That really close-up shot of the lips, licking and stuff like that. Really, really good animation in here. Really like it. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, if you did, hit the like button down below. Until next time, take care.